Hi everyone, how's everyone doing today? And just wanted to say thank you for watching. And today I wanted to talk about teaching education and some of the issues that have been discussed lately. So we'll then talk about critical race theory. Funny thing is, people are so opposed to it don't even really know what it is. And the big thing I'm hearing about is people are saying, well, you know, we shouldn't teach children about racism because, I don't know, might make all white people feel like racists. Well, I don't agree, and I don't really think that's the case. In fact, I can kind of prove it because I remember a rather lesson in grade school many years back. People who went to the same school with me might even remember it too. Not so much the location. I don't remember the exact grade or the teacher. I don't remember those specifics. And we didn't have all the technology we did back then. There was no internet, let alone social media. We definitely didn't have PowerPoint, so everything was done using slides projected on a screen. And at a very young age, they showed us this story involving rabbits. It was illustrated through cartoons, very basic illustrations, nothing elaborate. It wasn't so much visual detail they were going for, but trying to convey a certain message. And pretty much the story went is whereby you had the black rabbits that were being enslaved by the white rabbits, naturally. It showed how the white rabbits had all the power, and the black rabbits, you know, were doing all the labor and all the work, and the white rabbits were reaping the rewards for their efforts. You know, the black rabbits were property. They weren't treated as individuals, they were treated as workers to get the job done for their masters, the white rabbits. And it wasn't necessarily a violent cartoon. They didn't use a lot of violence or gore, but there is one particular scene that some parents might be kind of disturbing or unsettling for a child. And that is about halfway into the story, a black rabbit, a young child, comes forward and begins to protest, saying, this is not fair, this is not right, we should be treated fairly, you know, we're still rabbits, in spite of the color of our fur. So in the next frame, they show these two white rabbits hanging up this black hide, and implying that they killed the young child, and they skinned it. They didn't use blood or gore or anything like that, you know, they tried to keep, you know, they didn't show any like visual violence, but just the idea of it was pretty disturbing. And eventually into this, like I said, the hide was put up as a way, as an example, to show all the other black rabbits, this is what happens when you question our ways. This is what happens when you question the masters. Know your place. Know that we own you, and that if you try to do anything otherwise to disturb that order, this is what's going to happen to you. The black rabbits eventually rebel, and they succeed. They turn the tables, and now the white rabbits are all in prison. They're enslaved, and the black rabbits are the ones in charge. And now the white rabbits are doing all the work and duties that the black rabbits originally did when they were enslaved. Which is sort of just, and they start to see the error of their ways. And then, at the end of the story, lo and behold, a young child rabbit, a white one this time, comes forward, and similar protest, only he's like pleading, he's saying, we're sorry, you know, what we did was wrong. Can we change things? Can we make it so that it's equal, so that we're all treated fairly, okay? So that we're all individuals. And that's where the story ends, and like I said, by all rationale, the black rabbit should have done the same thing to be even Steven. They should have killed this young white rabbit for protesting and strung his up as a hide, as an example of, see, we can be cruel too. This is what, you know, you brought upon yourselves. They didn't do that. They didn't show that scene. They kind of left it hanging. And even though it was so many years back, I still remember it somewhat clearly to this day. Could I tell you the title of the story, or who wrote it, or who created those illustrations? No. But it's not so much the point of the messenger than the message itself. And, you know, now we have certain places like in Florida where there's book banning, and in other areas like Ron DeSantis, he's heavy on that. Not surprising given how, Ron DeSantis likes to be mean, and I saw a few years back in a campaign ad he did, where he's being all like pro-Trump and showing one of his kids how to build a wall. Yeah, because those Mexicans, those rapists, those drug dealers are just out to get you. That's good, Ron. You're gonna raise your child to be a stupid racist just like you. Racism is not a pleasant thing. There are a lot of things in history that are not pleasant. The Civil War wasn't pleasant, as well as slavery. World War II wasn't pleasant, as well as the concentration camps and, the cruelty that was inflicted upon Jews. But these are not necessarily things you should sugarcoat or exclude from education, especially in children. Why? Because that's how you teach them to learn from their mistakes. Like down south, people are all happy to wave around Confederate flags saying it's about heritage, not hate, because we're all about Southern pride. But God forbid we talk about slavery. The whole idea to help children avoid becoming racist is by letting them know what it is. But more importantly, educating them on how to combat it. How to combat hatred. And you do it with love, but more importantly, you do it by teaching children how to be open-minded and, fair to all races. And not just race, all forms of discrimination. Discrimination towards gender, towards orientation, towards gender identity. Teach them that, in spite of appearances, in spite of the color of their skin or whatever their religion is that all races should be treated the same. You should treat people the way you would want yourself and people of your race to be treated. That we're all a human race. And the most important weapon to use, or tool I should say, to combat racism is through education. Don't feel like, no, we shouldn't teach children about racism because they might get the wrong impression. I don't remember precisely how I feel. I can't speak about the other students in that class going so many years back, but I honestly, as much as I remember that cartoon, I don't remember there being a time where I felt like, oh, I'm sad because of what they did to that black rabbit. That must make me a racist. That must make all the white kids in the class racist too. Keep in mind the fact that back then, that school I went to was predominantly white. There were very few people of color around. But in spite of all that, you should still teach children about racism. You should teach them about these periods in history. How you do it may vary, with the teachers and the curriculum, but you should not exclude it. You should not ban books talking about it because, how are they supposed to learn not to hate? How are they supposed to learn to love if you do away with education? You get rid of hate with love. You teach children how not to hate. You educate them. That's the proper way. Anyway, I hope you understand. Thank you for watching.